What's up guys, Elfis here, and today we're going to be doing another HoN replay analysis. This one is going to be for Fluxzy, I believe is how you say that name. And actually I'm assuming, he didn't actually mention this, but I can't say another way to do it. This is going to be a 5 pre-made. They all have the same clan tag, I imagine they're all clan mates. And a key thing to note, when you go in as a 5-man pre-made, it tries to match you against other 5-man pre-mades. It tries to even it out. They think, you have... you guys can work together, so the idea is you should be against people who are also working together. Well, and I'm not sure if all 4 of these are together, but at least these 2 and these 2 are probably together. So you have at least 2 pairs, and then this guy's probably all by himself would be my guess. So we're actually going to jump in. I want to say thank you to, I believe you say the name bforum1. It's L34UM1. Thanks for the advice. I don't know how to say that. I imagine it's bforum1. But that's just my assumption. So thank you for the advice. It's actually, a lot of it was actually really helpful. But so we're going to jump in. We're going to go through the picking phase a little bit fast forwarded here. And keep in mind, actually, before we start, I just want to mention that I'll probably be fast forwarding a bit more in this video. Just over parts that I think are unnecessary to totally watch it, like 100%. If you think I missed something, feel free to let me know, and I'll go back and give it another look and post a comment about it or something. So, that being said, though, we're going to go right in. We're going to go through this probably 2 times, 4 times. I imagine these guys are on Skype or something, and they're discussing their strategy. Probably these guys, the 2 pairs are probably on Skype or something along those lines. Usually when you go in with friends, usually, not always, you're on some type of, VoIP software, but that's just, what it is. So I actually want to comment on the picking phase really quickly. So we have a Pestilence pickup, which... I never like to see unless there is a hero that Pestilence counters, i.e. an invisibility hero, which we don't see on the Hellborn team. The only debatable thing is that possibly, Parasite can take Wild Hunters, so he has invisibility. And then on Monkey King, people like to get Assassin Shroud. Now, what I'm imagining it was what I would like to say the Pestilence pickup was picked up for was for the Valkyrie. But actually, if you look... Pestilence was picked up before Valkyrie, and he was picked up after Monkey King and Parasite, so that's why I mentioned those 2. He was picked up before Valkyrie, though, so it's not to counter his ult, which kind of makes me wonder why we picked up Parasite or Pestilence, because that hero, kind of to me at least, feels like he's only like a counter hero. I don't see any reason to actually pick him up. I think he's a bit of an initiator, really. Sometimes people play him as a carry. I think there are better ways to play him. I think an initiator is the best way to play him, and I think there are better initiators. So I don't agree with the Pestilence pickup right out of the gate. And the number one reason why I don't agree with it is because now if you look at the Legion teams, we don't really have a true hard carry. I mean, we have Hag who can carry, and we have Rally who could carry, debatably. But against a Monkey King and Dampier, it's kind of unlikely that they will outcarry them. So what I want to mention is that we have a bit of unique lane setups for a 1400-1500 game, which is what this is. Usually you don't see a duo mid lane in 14-1500s. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I actually like the duo mid lane when you tend to change up the meta game, which is essentially like the normal style of play, really. That's just like a brief description of what meta is. When you change up the meta, it tends to give you an advantage usually, because people... It depends actually. It gives you an advantage in that you are taking your opponents off guard, but it gives you a disadvantage in that usually you would have less practice with it as well. So, we're actually going to see a duo lane Rally Myrmidon. So I actually want to comment on that too. I don't agree with the Rally Myrmidon lane, only because I think Rally isn't really someone who duo lanes mid. I think, duo lane mid heroes are like heroes such as Pebbles, really good duo lane mid hero, that's my comment on that. Heroes like, I've seen people do it with Devourer, although I don't think you need to. I think Devourer does quite fine normal. Not that he's any worse in a duo lane. He actually does great in a side lane, duo lane too. A couple other heroes, Rampage. I've seen people do it with Rampage and do quite well. I've seen people do it with Dampier and do quite well. I've seen people do it with ranged carries such as Flint Beastwood or Moon Queen, perhaps, especially Moon Queen, because she has lower, really low attack range, not damage. Sorry. But so I think the Rally Merm lane is a bit odd in my personal opinion. And the way a duo lane will work is you really have to deny and you have to really zone. A duo mid lane, that is, you know, because it's 2v1, assuming they aren't going to readjust, which they actually do readjust. If you'll note, So Reaper is actually down here. He's coming up to mid lane they're adjusting. So it is going to be a duo lane. It's not going to be 2v1, it's going to be 2v2 mid. And there's nothing wrong with that. If they adjust, that's fine. It actually gimps them a little bit to readjust, because then, you know, Soul Reaper has to waste a little bit of time walking and such, or a little bit of gold on a TP. So other than this, and now that I think you're in a 2v2 lane, I think you're actually worse off. I think Dampier, Soul Reaper is a better combination than Rally Myrmidon. And that's just me. I personally think Rally's a bit of a weaker hero. I actually really like all of his abilities, except for his ultimate. To me, it just seems a bit weak. It doesn't have. It's much like Solstice's ult. Against competent players, it's hard to land a really good one. You know. And a similar concept with Tempest's ult. Now, if you can land good ones, they can be game-changing ultimates. You know what I mean? They can win you games or lose you games if you can't get them. But it's one of those ultimates that I kind of like to stay away from, unless, you know, you have a lot of practice and really good coordination and such, because it's hard to do it perfectly or well, rather, for that means. So now, as you'll note, actually, in the 2v2, and I'll talk about the other lanes in just a second. In the 2v2, you guys are actually kind of getting zoned out a little bit here now that it's 2v2. You do actually end up picking up a kill here, which is nice. He kind of gets creep blocked by his own creeps, which is pretty unfortunate. Had he known that and actually just walked around, I think he would have gotten away. But he wasn't paying attention, so a little bit of misplay from him. So far the coordination from your team is actually quite decent, you know, all things considered. But what you're lacking is team composition-wise. The other team, I think, wins because they have the carry that they need for mid to late game, whereas you guys don't really have the carry for late game, and I think you have somewhat carry for mid game, but not a lot. And you don't have the push that you need to maximize without a carry. So without a carry, you kind of need to focus on either getting massive amounts of kills or massive amount of pushing. You don't really have the team composition for either. You have a little bit of kills-wise, but you sent Witch Slayer, I couldn't think of the name, sorry, Witch Slayer you sent to a side lane, so he's going to be a little bit, if he had been a solo, then I think your killing potential would be higher. And actually, they don't have any wards up here, so they didn't see you guys grab the haste rune. He's kind of, it looks like, guessing a little bit, getting a little bit skeptical with Witch Slayer being missing. But the fact that you guys are getting, you know, rune after rune after rune is really nice. And I did watch the replay a bit beforehand. I didn't watch it all because it's an hour long. I watched you know, bits and chunks of it. And you guys actually tend to maintain rune control quite significantly for the vast majority of the early game, which is great. That's very good. Now, you've picked up a kill. You've started to build your items. You got a bottle first, which is fine. I think bottle first on any mid hero, with maybe very slight exceptions being like Blood Hunter, I don't like bottle first on, or maybe like, well, even I would say Ra too. Ra, I don't really like bottle first on, and then maybe Tremble. I don't really like bottle first on Tremble either. But other than those three, I think all the other solo mid heroes that would go mid, I'm totally fine bottle first. So you got bottle first. Myrmidon went for a blood chalice, totally fine. He's supporting, that's great. Myrmidon here actually misses a number of kelp fields. No, kelp field is Bubbles, I think. It's Weed Field, I think is his. Yeah, Weed Field. So he misses a number of Weed Fields this game. So had he landed them, you guys actually would have netted a couple more kills early on, which could have been significant. So he's actually missed a couple, not so far. I think he's missed one or two thus far, but he's missed a couple like throughout the game that I've noted that are kind of key. Another thing I want to talk about I'm actually going to start skipping through this just as well. We'll watch it on 2x speed. So we get a kill here on Soul Reaper. Again, a little bit out of position there by Soul Reaper. He's kind of getting a little bit too ballsy going up. We'll talk about creep score real quick. You're actually losing to Dampier, which is not good. Now, that's not to say you're so far behind. You're only behind by 4 at the moment, 5 at the moment. Sorry, but you should be higher considering you had a full wave or two at the beginning, and here you missed out on a rune. Dampier got an invis. I actually didn't even see him leave to get it, but he did leave to get an invis rune at some point. Because he's invis, so he must have, somebody at some point left to get an invis rune. So we're going to see probably Witch Slayer die here. Oh, maybe not actually. Nope, okay. Nice on his part. So this is probably an engagement you guys wanted. And I say this because it's 4v3, or, well, not anymore, now it's 3v2, it was 4v3, but on top of that, it's in your territory. Pretty much team fights in your territory, with a few exceptions, you almost always want to take. So Parasite's gone. Once he jumps in those creeps like that, it's really hard to catch after him. That doesn't make any sense, to chase him, to catch him. It's not impossible, just unlikely that you're going to get him. So, we have you saving up about 1,000, 1,100 gold here. I imagine, I imagine we're going for boots next. I'm now making a little bit of commentary based on what I would expect you to do, not based on what I've already seen. I know you do go boots next. A couple things I want to note. Your team in general, throughout the whole game, your team is really, really lacking on TPs. You get a couple here and there, and then like use them instantly. You never really have them on you, and that goes for the Hellborn team as well. But we're kind of focusing on your team, so you really need to worry about. You need to focus on that. You should have a TP on you pretty much constantly, past like 10 minutes at the latest. But I would say even like 7 or 8 minutes. I would say when you grab your boots at the start, at least once you hit 6. Once you hit 6, you need to have a TP on you. So that's what I'm going to say on that. Hag's actually getting killed down here on bot. Kind of getting used to this new camera smoothing is actually a little bit odd. Like I'm used to not having it, so it's almost, it's not for me. But so item wise, you got a rune here, very nice. Item wise, you're actually okay. So you actually just bought something. I imagine those were your boots. No, you didn't have them on the courier, so they're in your stash. Okay, so we do this, and then, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, never mind. I think I have to go from your perspective and then look, but I imagine they're your boots, because I know that's the next item you're going to get, so I'm actually not going to waste time checking. What I want to note that you are actually significantly behind on creep score. Oh, actually, last time I looked at creep score, sorry, when I said you were 5 behind, I was looking at Hag's, not yours, so I stand corrected. You were actually even more behind than that. That's not okay. When you do a duo lane, you need to be ahead on creep score. He should be getting barely any creep score. So now he's going to basically kill her right now. Oh, see, here's another thing I want to comment on you actually doing quite a bit. I actually don't see you. I watched 40 or so minutes of the game. I don't see you do it at all where you use your push. I believe it's called compel. Yeah, compel on any of your allied heroes. And I say that because that was a case where you should have. You actually jumped in to stun him, which helped him get away, but I think it would have been better off, because you weren't going to kill him solo. I think it would have been better off for you to just push Myrmidon out to make sure he was 100% that he was getting out. So unlike a push stick, you can actually pick the direction, sorry, push stick, that's, I meant tablet of command. Unlike a tablet of command, you can actually pick the direction that you're sending them in. So that's not acceptable to not be using that. With a tablet of command, it can be somewhat acceptable because if they're not facing the right direction, it's okay. But that is not an excuse for you because you can actually pick the direction you're sending them in. Another thing is Dampier is now out-leveling you guys, which I actually don't even understand how that's happening, considering you have 2 kills. Myrmidon is 1-1, so he's at least even. So between your lane, you've gotten 3 kills and 1 death. And you have killed 3 people, and you died once. Obviously, I don't know why I just repeated that, but I mean, so he shouldn't. I mean, granted, he's not died at all, so I will say that, but he shouldn't be this far ahead of you in the fact that he's already probably almost level 8, if you were to look at it. So if you look at experience per minute, he's actually ahead of both of you quite a bit. That's not acceptable. So experience per minute, you guys are losing significantly. And if you look up here at the top, that's what these are, team experience and team gold. It's much so, like very much so in the Hellborn favor. And there's another Weedfield miss. This is what I'm saying. She does this, I'm actually not sure if there's a guy or a girl, but Myrmidon does that quite a bit where he misses Weedfield. So he should probably be a little bit more careful with that. Or if he can't be a little bit more careful, and I know it's not always easy, but if you can't be more accurate with those, play a hero that's less skill-based, I think, such as perhaps Andromeda may be a good pick for him, an insta-stun, and then, you have the swap. It's a little bit more sacrificial, but, I think that's okay. So also, gold per minute. Dampier's also beating you just barely beating you, but he's also beating, you know, combined-wise in the lane, you beat him, okay? But that's not what you want. You want your gold per minute to be beating him, and that's not happening. So I think it mainly falls on your creep score. I'm not sure how you weren't getting more creep score, considering you had 2 free waves, essentially, or you should have. He should have not been allowed to touch the first probably 1 or 2, maybe even 3 or 4 waves until Soul Reaper at least showed up to help. Which means you should have gotten free denies, free last hits. So that's, you know, 4 per wave. You should have had at least, you know, 12 CK. You know, and hopefully between the two of you 12 denies, but at least, you know, maybe 8 denies, 6 denies or something, before he was even allowed to get any last hits at all, okay? So you should have had a 12 creep score lead on him right out the gate. Now, I know that's not always the case. Sometimes there's things arise that cause you to miss last hits, and I understand that, but at least you should have had, you know, 10 CK, 8 CK at minimum lead on him. So what I do want to note is this is one of the cases where you should have a TP. You see the team fighting down here. If you had a TP, you could TP down here, come fight instantly. Instead, you do not have a TP, so what you end up doing actually is you start walking down to bot lane here. You just walk, and that's a lot of wasted time. That's a pretty significant amount of time. You actually do come down here and are actually very beneficial to the team fighting. You actually help get a couple of kills here, which is very nice. So this would be a case, oh, you don't have any mana at the moment, but that would be a case where Witch Slayer stuns and you use your ultimate. That's a good combination for the two of you. Or Pestilence stun, or, you know, Merm stun, I guess, if she can hit it. He can hit it. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I keep saying she, but so either or. So item-wise, I just want to cover that real quick. Myrmidon's items, totally fine. Wards, boots, blood chalice, love it. Myrmidon's actually dying a little bit more than I'd appreciate, but it's fine. He's supporting. It's okay. Pestilence, I didn't agree with the hero pickup to begin with. I don't agree with the items. I'm not sure why he has 2 of these Crushing Claws. I know he started with them. I'm not totally sure why he started with them. I guess he just wants more damage, but I think he should have been better off starting with the Crushing Claws and the Intellect one, so he can get, or Intelligence one, so he can get a Blood Chalice. I like Blood Chalice on him. It's great. Your items, totally fine. I like the boots. Now you have a TP, but we're going to see, where are you? You're over here. So you bought a TP. You're going to use it relatively soon, if I recall correctly. None of you seem to hold onto a TP all that much for too long. You should always have a TP. That's just something I'm going to continuously go back to. You should always have a TP. So I want to actually note, this is a very significant thing that I really want to note, is that your creep score, everybody on the team, not just yours, your whole group of friends, you guys, are all significantly behind where you need to be, creep score-wise. So you're doing quite well, actually, using your Compel at the right amount, at the right time, you know, using your Slow at the right time. Again, you aren't using it on your allies to help them, which is kind of unfortunate, but it happens. See, you know, you kind of get a little bit tunnel visioned here and there, and I mean, I know in that case you didn't have mana, so I'm not saying you should have used it on him, but just that you kind of got, you know, a little bit tunnel vision. Saving teammates, in my personal opinion, it depends on which teammate you're trading for which enemy, but saving teammates in general is better than getting kills, I think. Now, this is not really acceptable, letting that get killed without a deny. I'm not sure what happened to let that happen, so Dampier's probably going to get 2 kills here, unless she blinks. Okay, here we go. We got a stun from Witch Slayer. You guys all went B, which is fine. You should have. I think Witch Slayer's overextending here a bit. He needs to back off. He blew his ult. He blew all his mana. Items on Witch Slayer, I love them. I imagine this is going to be built into a Ring of Sorcery, which is fine for support Witch Slayer. I think I like that a lot. Hag's items. She should have more items. She was a solo, I believe. She went solo bot. So she just died again to Bloody Ribs. Who is that? Oh, did she just get arrowed? I actually want to see that. That would be quite interesting to see. Oops, I think we skipped it just a bit too far ahead. I think we're going to see a ball in... Oh my god, that was an arrow for the books. I'm actually going to watch that one more time. Here it comes. Boom, arrow for the books, guys. Very nice job. I don't know, that has got to be like a pure guess almost. That was very good, actually. Very good props to, I imagine there's a little bit of raging going on in your Skype call or whatever happened, however you guys are communicating, but that's got to be pretty disappointing. So, congrats to Valkyrie. That was a very good arrow. Valkyrie's items, we'll cover Hellborn real quick, because I covered everybody on the Legion. Valkyrie's items, I don't know why she bought this as her first item. That makes no sense to me. like none, like in the slightest bit. I'm not saying it's necessarily a terrible item to pick up in general, but as your first item, I don't think so. Maybe Dampier should have gotten this as his first item. Dampier with more move speed would be great. Valkyrie with more move speed early on? Okay, that's fine. I don't see any reason for it, though. So again, I just want to note that the combination, you can actually use this. You can use that Compel on allies. I never see you do it so far. I haven't seen you done it once. I haven't seen you do it once, sorry. And I don't think I see you do it at all. What would be better, you and Pestilence combination, you have the Pestilence, use the Pestilence to compel him towards her so he can stun, you know, chain the stun, obviously not just do it instantly, but chain the stun, and then, you know, it just tends to work out better. And there's actually a couple times later on where it actually lets people get away because you don't do that, you don't compel your allies. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. So we're actually going to fast forward just a little bit. But item-wise, again, Dampier's item's totally fine. I imagine it's going to be a Null Stone or maybe a Helm, that's fine either way, I think. I would actually disagree with the Helm a little bit, but the Helm's not necessarily bad. So you're going to go back to base, still no TP. I'm going to note it again, 4 out of 5 of you do not have a TP. I believe right here you actually buy a TP and then use it instantly. Yeah, you buy a TP, just buy 2. Oh, you don't use it instantly. Okay, so this is good. You should have probably just used it instantly. I would have just bought 2, you had the gold, used it instantly, and then you could have gotten to the team fight just a little bit quicker. This is a team fight you shouldn't engage upon, by the way. I'm actually going to slow it down. You were already outnumbered. They picked one off immediately. You should have left. Now, whether or not the team fight actually goes in your favor, I think, I'm not sure. It looks like it's not going to, by the... Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, so, yeah, 3 of you dead for 1 of them. Debatably, even 4 of you. It looks like your Pestilence. Now, Pestilence... Oh, why did he stop moving? Okay, okay, never mind. 4 of you dead. I'm not sure why Pestilence stopped moving. He could have kept going. Even if he ran into Parasite, it's better than just sitting there. He was going to get cornered if he just sat there, so there was no reason to not keep moving. He didn't have a TP, so he couldn't teleport out. So that was a poor team fight to begin with. Once 1 of you died, you should have instantly just backed off. If they get a free kill, essentially, and I'll say this in every one of my analysis videos, there's maybe a little bit of a leeway in this. There are times where if you're just so far ahead, it's not that big of a deal. But if they get a free kill at the beginning of team fights and it instantly becomes a 4v5, don't fight it. There's really no reason to. Now, in some cases, if you're so far ahead that losing 1 member doesn't make a difference, then I would say it's okay. But I'd have to see the game. There's very few cases where I would say that that's okay, especially in normal mode. So yeah, if you get a free death on your team, if they get a free kill and they're still mostly full health, then don't fight it. That's a pretty unanimous rule to follow. Don't fight it. That's instantly back out. All right. So I'm just gonna finish up my item-wise. Dampier still didn't get anything. I think he just bought something on Courier or something. So you went straight for a Helm, but I'll talk about that in a sec. Valkyrie, I imagine that's going to be either a Shield Breaker or a Shrunken Head. I'm totally fine with either of those on her. Random arrows every now and then, doesn't hurt anybody. Monkey King, so he got a Grave Locket, which I don't agree with. That's kind of an odd item on him to get. I'm not sure why he built that. And then on top of that, he got a Searing Light is what it's called. Okay, he got a Searing Light. A little bit odd choice, I think. I think Frostburn into a Dawnbringer would be better. It's not bad to get that, I don't think. That particular combination seems to be okay. I mean, the Intelligence gives him mana regen, I guess, and he gets mana regen. That's really nice to have the mana regen, but I just think a Frostburn would have been better with the slow and all that extra, you know what I mean? And the extra health and such and such. But I'm okay with that, actually. I'm not totally against that. Other than that, he's just a bit of an odd choice, I think. Parasites, we got a Codex so far. Let's see what level it is. Sorry, click him. I can't click him for some reason. Okay, here we go. Click him. We got a Codex level 1. That's a little bit slow for Codex level 1. I don't know how long he's had it, but he should have something else, either a higher level Codex or something. So at this point, you guys are starting to get behind very much so. I mean, you were behind before. The bars still look about the same, but the numbers now are in bigger quantities, which is actually a very big deal. So at this point, even though I know how the game ends, if I was just a spectator, if I was just watching this, just based on watching it, I would say that you guys will probably lose this game. I already know how the game turns out, but just based on statistics-wise, creep score, gold, and XPM leads and such, you will lose this game. and also based on team composition. You guys don't have anything late game that can help you come back, you know what I mean? You don't have anything. You have a Hag, who isn't really all that farmed, by the way, but you have a Hag who can somewhat carry, but not a lot. So if we look at creep score, the Hellborn team is actually all behind with the exception of Monkey King, who's a little bit ahead, which I'm actually proud of that. Monkey King, I haven't been paying attention to your creep score, but you've been doing good on creep score, man. Keep it up. Your item-wise a little bit odd, but hey, man, it's whatever. I mean, it's not whatever. It's kind of a big deal that you built a Grave Locket and then a Searing Light, but hey, it's all good, I guess. But creep score, he's the only one on par or ahead of where he should be, so she's dead, yeah. Now you should get a free kill on him. This is, okay, so that was a miscompel. You should have actually probably waited for him to blow his skills, because Monkey King kind of jumps all over the place with his skills. I personally, usually, unless I know I can get him, like with a point stun or something, I usually wait to blow my AoE skills just in case he's going to jump around. So this should be a free kill. Pestilence, a little bit AFK there, I guess. I don't know, not paying attention. Should have been a free kill. Looks like it still will be. Okay. He could have gotten away. He didn't get away, but there was potential for him to get away because of the sleeping Pestilence there. I'm not sure what happened. But he did die, so it's okay. Now, kill-wise, you're not that far behind. You're only down by 2. Tower-wise, you're down by 4, which is actually kind of a big deal at 23 minutes, but especially against a team that, you know, doesn't really have any push with the exception of a little bit of AoE skill damage, which is considered push, but it's not like a push skill that, you know, does damage to towers and such like that. But the really big deal, what I want to note is your team composition, A, has no chance of coming back from this late game without huge mistakes from the Hellborn, and B, your creep scores are all terribly low. Now you have the highest on your team, which, you know, that's good to say, I guess. I have the highest on my team, but the highest out of, you know, people who are all very low doesn't necessarily say much. So no TPs again, other than Hag, who's is on cooldown. I'm going to keep coming back to that. Every time I look over, I see, you know, 1 TP out of the 5 of you. That's not good. You need to have more than that. Especially when you guys are, I mean, I know this isn't you, but especially when you guys are pushing out this far and such, there should definitely be TPs with you. That doesn't make any sense. So we see initiation by you onto Monkey King. I think that's kind of a misjudgment on your part. You can't kill him. I mean, Pestilence is here, who, by the way, Pestilence doesn't have a portal key yet. He doesn't have anything. So this is nice. You had a little bit of backup from him from Witchlayer coming in. Yeah, Dampier. Gotta love that fear. He's gone. You're not gonna catch him. He's really fast, actually. Did he build? No. So he did build a helm. I'm not against the helm. The helm's fine. Witchlayer's dead. So we did get a shield breaker on Valk. I like the shield breaker. Still against the Energizer, but hey. This should be a free kill. He's running. He's gonna have to stop. Okay, now this is where we're in trouble. Now we need to leave, or we're all dead. So you guys didn't have any sight in this area, which is fine. I'm not saying that's a place that should definitely be warded. But map awareness would have helped had you noted that 3 or 4 of them were missing. Ooh, nice dodge of the arrow. Good choice. You still die, but that's just, you know, a good thing to note. That's, you're paying attention to what's behind you as well. So you guys don't actually see this, but maybe just a little bit of map awareness. If we were to, I'm going to actually cut back to that fight just a few seconds prior to it. So right now, you killed one of them, you see another one, you know Dampier was nearby. So that covers 3 of them. 2 of them are missing, meaning you should not be fighting here with just 3 of them. And that's just based off of statistics. You don't, now whether or not they will show up to kill you is a different story, but these are based off of what you should be doing because of statistics. And statistics say you shouldn't have fought that. You don't know where they were. You didn't have sight to see any of them. So odds are you shouldn't fight it because of the chance that they could be there to kill you. Now actually, these guys are all backing off. I'm not sure why. They could have actually made a very significant dent in this tower, if not killed it. You know, Dark Green's still basically full health. And, you know, Valkyrie's still basically full health. I'm not totally sure. Parasite stuck around for a little bit, which was good by him. I'm not totally sure why they backed off. So, you know, you lucked out there. A little bit of no capitalizing from them. So that's nice. But so you guys are pretty much way behind. So what I want to note is that your kill score, your KDR 7, 1, and 4, is very misleading. You're very behind where you should be at the moment, and you can tell that based on your GPM, 262, which isn't terrible, but it's nothing to brag about, and your XPM, which is 330, which is behind 4 of the 5 members of the Elborn team, by the way. And again, it's not bad, but it's nothing to brag about. Now, actually, your hero damage is pretty decent, but you're very behind where you should be only because of your creep score, really. Had your creep score been on par from where you should be, you guys actually would stand a significant chance in this game because you'd have much more items. Your creep score should be about 75 higher than this, give or take. So if it was 75 higher than this, imagine all the gold you'd get from 75 creep score. That's a lot. So this is unacceptable. I'm not sure why Valkyrie was just allowed to come in and kill your Myrmidon. There we go. Thank you. It was a little bit of delayed killing there. So right here, this is actually something I want to note. I'm going to skip back just a little bit. Right here, you guys kill her. Here you come in though. Watch, compel. Right here, unnecessary compel. Had you saved that compel, you could have compelled Pestilence forward more and potentially killed Monkey King as well. Now your wards should actually tell you that, I think this ward should have seen at least 2 or 3 of them by now, that you should back out. You guys are under-leveled, under-farmed. You don't want to pick team fights unless you know you're going to get free kills or you're on towers, really. And even on towers, I'd be skeptical about the team fight depending on, who initiates on who and such. So very good awareness, paying attention to this. Nice chain stunning there. You waited for Pestilence's stun to be over before you did it. Good job on your part. You actually got the last hit even though you didn't really do much. But, hey, you know what? It's a team game. You're a person who actually needs some kills. So, actually, this should be close to a free kill. If we get a compel here in a minute, yeah, this should be a free kill. Okay, good job. There we go. See, free kills. This is what I was talking about with picking team fights. You need to pick wise ones. That was a very wise team fight to pick, actually. So you guys are actually conceding, you're voting to concede. I would agree with this because I'm a spectator. Player-wise, I'm not sure if you guys realize how far you are behind creep score-wise where you should be. Or GPM-wise where you should be. I imagine you have some idea GPM-wise at least. But creep score-wise, you're very far behind. Now, you're not necessarily behind these guys. These guys aren't really much better. These 3, Monkey King in general is doing great, but these 2 aren't really all that fantastic either. They're behind. 4 of them are behind as well, but that doesn't make you any less behind. But what I will say is that creep score is kind of, in relation to the game, how it works in the game, it's kind of all relevant, meaning it's how you compare to other people. So if you're behind where you should be, but everybody else is more behind, technically you're ahead is all I'm going to say. But you're not where you should be. So what I'm actually going to recommend, and I know not many people have watched this far into the video, I'm sure, but if anybody is still watching, what I would recommend, if you guys want to improve your creep score, go into a practice mode game, or just a private game, it doesn't matter, and, you can play against a friend, you can do it with a friend, or you can do it just normal. Just go into a normal game, head down to solo mid, pick a carry, use 600 gold, I would get hatchet, shield, runes of blight, whatever, but use 600 gold. If you use more than 600, you're cheating, because that's how much you start with in-game. This is kind of a weird blink, I'm not sure why she did that, but use 600 gold, and then try and get as many creeps as you can in the first 10 minutes. And you can do that over and over again until you're better at it. I think the absolute maximum you could possibly get is 4 per wave. There's going to be 20 waves in the first 10 minutes. So 80. I think 80. You need to get 80 is the maximum that you can get in 10 minutes, assuming you're not getting jungle creeps as well. I think if you were to get like Snotters here a couple times, then maybe you could get a little bit above 80. But just focus on creep kills. Like getting creep kills, and that'll actually really help you improve, believe it or not. But if you're just in it for fun, then don't worry about it. This is kind of a poor initiation. It's great that you guys noticed them, but you initiated onto the wrong one. I would have gone for Parasite. He's much squishier. Now it worked out. It did work out. Don't get me wrong. It worked out, and it wasn't a bad choice to initiate. I just think out of the 2 of them that you just saw, he was probably the less likely one that you were going to be able to kill. Now, you did get him, and that's totally fine, and some people will say I'm wrong and that you were totally right to go for that, and that's fine. I think that Parasite was the easier target. He's not the more beneficial target. Monkey King would have been more beneficial in team fights, but that's all I'm going to say. It's a little bit debatable. I'm not against you going after Monkey King. I just think maybe Parasite would have been a little bit more surefire kill, you know what I mean? And so as you can see, you got 1 kill and instantly delayed the push. They all backed off, you know what I mean? So really, you're kind of just delaying the inevitable. The game actually lasts for another 35 minutes, so I think I'm going to start watching it on 2x speed. But like really, you guys are just kind of delaying the inevitable. You don't have anything. You don't have what you need. Oh, did we finally get a PK on Pestilence? There we go. Okay, so this is what I was waiting for. This is a really late portal key, but it's freaking amazing that you got this portal key. All right, this is what could potentially change the game for you. Good initiations is what's going to change the game for you. Now, I'm always going to bring it back to what your very key mistakes were: creep score, not having TPs. Team composition-wise, right out the gate, they have better team composition. You guys don't really have a good team composition. And I think had you traded either Rally or Pestilence for, or both actually, trade Pestilence for a better initiator and then trade Rally for a better carry, I think you would have done much better in this game. But that's another story. That's like hypothetical speaking. At the moment, we're in this game, so we have to worry about this. So we're gonna see down here on bot, you guys, you guys are actually gonna pick up a few kills here and there, which is good by you guys, and bad by the Hellborn team. They shouldn't be giving you any free kills. At this point, the Hellborn team, yeah, I was just gonna say they could just do Kongor and pretty much end the game essentially. And they are doing Kongor. You guys don't have any wards around here. Now, I'm not necessarily blaming your support for this because your supports have actually been very starved. 9 creep score on Witch Slayer. He's got like 0 gold. 116 gold per minute, that's nothing. That's a ward a minute. That's, you can't get any items here. Which, I think at this point he should probably just focus on wards, really. He's not going to do much to the team anyways. But, and then, same for, Myrmidon, preload creep score, 150 per minute. It's really not a lot. So, so let's see, your items. We're going to go back to your items. I love the Helm, love the Soul's Bulwark. That's a great item composition for starting, or combination, I guess, whichever one you want to pick. Those are great 2 starting items. I love both of them on Rally, alright? So far your build is flawless, with the only exception, and I'll say it over and over and over again, sorry for being a broken record, but the only exception being no TP. You don't have a TP ever. Every time I look, it's like no TP on you, man. You really need to have TPs. And pass that along to everybody. Every time you look at your teammates and don't see a TP on them, tell them to get one. That should be a general rule of thumb that every player in HoN should get a TP constantly. Like, there's no reason not to. So we're going to slow it down here just for this team fight. We're actually going to cut back 10 to 20 seconds here. So we get good initiation on Monkey King here. Great initiation. Wasted Hag ult. Very much so wasted Hag ult. Even if he didn't have the token of life, that was a waste. Hag ult is AoE, meaning you want to hit as many targets as you can, not one. Now, what I will say is this is a great fight for you guys. So far, the Hellborn team has been a little stupid. They threw away a token of life at the beginning, no reason to do that. And then they got a free kill on Hag pretty much at the cost of a token of life. But other than that, it was pretty expensive. It wasn't really. So she's dumb to keep chasing this. One more hit, she's dead. Oh, nice power supply by Valkyrie. Very good job, Valkyrie. Oh my god, mad props to Valkyrie for there. A lot of people don't think about the power supply in the moment. It's a very good job by you to chase that down. You could actually come back here and kill her. This is what I would do if I were you. Come back here and kill her. I'm not sure where you're going. I guess you're avoiding her. You don't want to fight her, probably because of the shield breaker, but you have enough for 1 compel, and that's all. Yeah, that's all it was going to take. So actually, I want to just quickly check to see if you had enough the whole time. So yeah, you had enough. Oh, sorry. Go a little bit further back. Okay, so here's the problem. It was on cooldown and you didn't have mana for it. So I take that back, actually. I think you still could have killed her, but I will take that back and say that that was a good choice on your part to wait for the compel mana. Very good job, actually, by you. So I'm going to go ahead and take that back and say that you were right in that case, not me. So that was a really good team fight by you guys. So I do want to note that now you're catching up in experience. You're actually getting fairly even here. If you look up here, these are the actual numbers. You're still down 6,000, which may seem like a lot, and it is a lot of experience. I don't want to take any benefit, take anything away from that, but it's not a whole lot considering the experience that you're missing is mostly in your supports, and that's not necessarily terrible. All right, it's bad, but it's okay for the supports to have it as long as the key heroes who need it are actually keeping up. So you finished your Demonic Breastplate. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm going to say it over and over again. I love that. Now you should be thinking about one of 2 things. You should be thinking about either very good initiation by you guys. I love that. Perfect job. Pestilence following that up with a PK. Love it. Pestilence, he's going for a Frostburn, or an Icebrand, sorry, is what he's got. I imagine he's going for either a Frostburn or potentially a Frostwolf Skull, but I really hope it's not a Frostwolf Skull. I hope it's Frostburn. in which case I'm very happy. Frostwolf Skull I'm a little bit more depressed about. Great initiation again. See, this is what I'm talking about. You guys are actually playing really well right now. And actually, I want to clarify that just a little bit. The Hellborn team's actually playing pretty poorly right now. So that's really good by your part. This is, you got to be careful. He could jump in, and I don't think he could actually one-round her. No, because she has the vestments. Okay, so Valkyrie dead. I mean, this is very good job by you guys. This should be, it's not going to be a free Rax because Monkey King and Dampier can stop you three. There's no, at least they should be able to. You three should not be able to beat the two of them. I don't know where Monkey King is. Oh, he's not anywhere close. Okay, and he's almost dead. So he should probably, oh, no TP on him. That's good. Okay, so we're going to get a free Rax here. So now, I didn't watch up to this point. I stopped at like 35 minutes when I watched the replay the first time around. So now I'm a little bit confused as to how we lost this game. So now you're back in the game. You are 100% back in the game. Your creep score is still behind, which is unfortunate, but that's okay, considering if you look at the kill-wise, you're ahead by 6, and the gold-wise, you're only down by 3,000, and you're actually ahead on experience now. So we got 3 free towers there, or sorry, 4 once we count this one. 4 free towers plus 3 mid-racks. I'm not sure what the Hellborn team was thinking. And another very odd blink by her. I don't get. This mass teleport out is not necessary when you see them all right here. You could have just walked out. I mean, it's fine, but I mean, you didn't need to do that. That's kind of a waste of gold, just FYI for you guys to know. It looks cool to mass teleport out, but, it's not necessary. But what I will say is good job having the TPs, guys. Very good job. So I'm going to go over your items again real quick on the Legion side. We'll maybe discuss Hellborn's items if we have time before another, engagement or something. So Hag, I love the items. I imagine the Great Arcana, or is it just Arcana now? Actually, oh yeah, it's just Arcana. They changed it. It was a Greater Arcana, but now it's just an Arcana. See, now the Hellborn's even thinking about conceding because they have actually just essentially thrown the game. So what I imagine happens is you guys throw the game back to them because I don't see any reason why you guys should lose this game otherwise. But that's what I assume happens. So item-wise again, let's see. You finish your demonic breastplate, fine. Like I was saying, you should be going for. I think I said it. I'm not sure if I got sidetracked or not, but you should be going for either an attack modifier or a tanky item at this point, which you are going for. You have an attack modifier. You have a ice brand. I imagine that's going to be a frost burn. I hope it's not a Frostwolf Skull, but even if it is, I'm not upset with it. I just think Frostwolf Skull is really, really a key item for ranged heroes, not so much for melee. With the only exception being maybe like I really like it on Sandwraith or somebody like that who doesn't have really any crowd control. Other than that, I mean, he has his little slow from his sand, but that's about it really. And it only lasts a few seconds, and it's not really that significant of a slow. But enough about Sandwraith because we don't have a Sandwraith in this game. So you, I hope, is not going to be a Frostwolf Skull. I would prefer it to be a Frost Burn into a Dawnbringer. Or even, a Frozen Light into a Dawnbringer. Either of those, I'd be okay with, although obviously I prefer the Frostburn into a Dawnbringer. By the way, it's been a lot of pauses this game. I think you guys have used, like, all 6 pauses. But, either way, so we got an Invis Rune on you. Great job to still have the Rune control a little bit here and there. You have a lot of wards here on Rune. This is unnecessary to have all of your wards like centered directly around here. What I will say is what you should have is this ward right here is okay. The ward by Kongor Pit is unnecessary until Kongor respawns. So you're actually wasting this ward a little bit. What I would say is this ward should have been delayed and placed after Kongor respawn. And then this ward should either be like up here, would be great to have it for when they come to push again like they are now. Or potentially, if you guys wanted to start being aggressive, you could put it like here, or up here maybe, or even over here if you want it. But I would say defensively is probably better. So over here would have been great. So I'm actually going to jump back just a few seconds because I wanted to talk about that. So now we have Blue teleporting back. Good job. Oh, Blue disconnected there for a second and is reconnecting. So this is kind of a little bit of a blunder on your part. You should have actually paused for Blue. That's kind of unfortunate. You getting tunnel visioned again. You kind of happen to get tunnel vision quite a bit, man. You need to, when somebody gets away, you need to think real quickly. I know it's hard to do it quick, but you need to think real quickly, well, do I need to keep chasing them? Is it more beneficial to keep chasing them, or should I turn around and help? And usually the answer as rally, unless you have something that can help you chase them down really easily, such as like Bloodhunter speed or something, as rally, usually the answer is, oh, missed compel there, that's kind of unfortunate. you should let him go at this point. This is where you should back off. But as rally, you should usually the answer is to turn around and help your team. It's not to keep chasing. As melee heroes in general, a lot of the time, that's what the answer is going to be. Especially since if they're blinking out like that, usually they've taken a significant amount of damage to begin with, and they probably won't be coming back anytime soon. So you don't necessarily need to kill them to win the team fight. Winning the team fight, you don't have to get genocide. You can get 4 or 3, and as long as you come out on top, it's still okay. And actually, you guys came out on top in that engagement, what I will say. You should have paid a little bit more attention to... oh, you know what it is, actually? You guys probably didn't even have any more pauses. There were a lot of pauses this game, so I don't even think you could have paused. I'm not sure. I haven't actually counted the pauses left. You know, you should have maybe waited on that engagement until blue was up. Now, the engagement, actually, you guys won that, so I'm kind of happy about that. But it wasn't necessarily the best engagement. Now, what I will say is, item-wise, you got the Frostburn, that's great. I would say for you specifically, not the whole team, this is a pretty poor initiation by... let's just jump back. He blinks right into here. This was odd. So very odd. I don't understand this. His team wasn't close enough. Pestilence, that was way too early of a blink. Your team can't blink with you. Only when you can blink with your tag. They were too far back. So, poor initiation. This is what I was kind of talking about with you throwing the game back to them. This is how I imagine the game, you know, comes to a loss. But what I was going to say, you in particular, Rally, you should be saving for a buyback now, just in case something like this happens and you throw the game pretty badly. Now, the game isn't thrown. Pestilence, it appears, did buy back, I believe. Because he's already back up, so I can't imagine if I go here. But yeah, Pestilence bought back. Alright, so you, in particular, Rally, should be saving for a buyback. I think we just got a 5-second arrow on you there. That's kind of unfortunate. I think you might be dead. Yeah, Codex. Love the Codex to finish it off. So, for initiation again, you know, I mean, like I was saying before, when they get a free pick-off like that, just back off. Back off. There's no reason to fight it. So they fought it and actually lost somebody else in the process. Pestilence died. And it looks like this is what caused you to lose the game. That one lost team fight with a very poor initiation from Pestilence. So I would say, and I'm not trying to be a dick to Pestilence, but just from my perspective, it looks like the reason you guys just lost this was because Pestilence initiated poorly in that team fight. That's what I'm going to say. Sorry, Pestilence, you've had some decent initiations thus far, but that doesn't, make you immune to being a poor initiator, and that was pretty poor initiation. That's all I'm going to say, man. That was kind of, you need to pay attention to where your team is, and keep in mind the fact that not everybody in the team can blink. So actually, I just looked over at Myrmidon's items. I really want to comment on that now. I don't know what you're doing, Myrmidon. So we get another free kill here. This is just kind of blunders on your part. I'm surprised they didn't just end the game right here. They could have gotten another free Rax easily and then just kind of ended it, but they don't, actually. It goes on for another 20 minutes, so I'm kind of confused. We're going to kind of speed it up just a little bit. I'm going to talk about items. Myrmidon, I don't know what you're doing, man. You kind of like started out playing support, and then like you kind of transitioning over. Hellflower, extremely weird item for your first major item on Myrmidon. Makes no sense in the slightest bit. I hope we're going to get a free kill on Dampier here, but probably not since he is pretty fast. Oh, I stand corrected, actually. There we go. Very good job. Very good job by the two of them. That was nice. So we're getting some chasing over here by Rally. So it's kind of odd. The team, both the Hellborn and Legion, keep throwing back and forth. You guys keep making huge mistakes back and forth to throw the game. So I don't really get it, actually. This is kind of odd. Don't go in on this. Let Pestilence get out and leave. Do not fight this. Alright, good choice. I'm getting really confused as to why the teams keep throwing back and forth. Like, literally throw after throw after throw. I don't get it. So you should be okay. Oh, wow. That Codex did a whole lot of damage to you. What's your health at? 2,500. That seems like it should be more. It should be less. What I would say is, even at this point, sell the bottle. You should have done it much sooner, I think, and I'm sorry I didn't comment on that sooner, but, so this is really good team fighting, really good. See, throwing them, see what I'm saying? Throw, back and forth. One throw, the other throw, one throw, the other. It's like you guys are just trading off throwing the game back and forth. I don't get it. But, so what you should have done much sooner is sold off the bottle and bought Mystic Vestments, or even gone all the way up to a Shaman's Headdress, if you're going to go tanky, but definitely at least got Mystic Vestments against a Parasite. No matter what hero I play, I get Mystic Vestments against Parasite. That's like one of the best items to counter him. So this is very poor choice. to Kongor right now, considering you know 2 of them are up. Very poor choice. You don't have enough wards up to do that, so I'm glad you guys backed off. Good choice. Hellflower and what appears to be a Nullstone, or the makings of a Nullstone. I don't get it. So now you guys don't know they're doing this, but please tell me somebody notices at some point that this is happening. Yes, thank you. Here we go. This should not be allowed to happen. Okay. They're still going to go for it, so this is where the whole team should come in and kill them. Monkey King's really low. You know, Kongor's really low. Somebody could even steal the token. This is a good fight. You guys want this fight. Okay, well, not anymore. Now that Pestilence got picked off. Okay. I mean, I'm getting a little bit confused here. So we got Parasite, not the person you want to get first, but that's fine. Usually Parasite kind of blows his load, and then he's kind of done for team fights. So I hope... Okay, Monkey King dies. Witch Slayer is so dead. I'm getting really confused as to why this game is going on so long, in all honesty. That was a very nice tablet of command by Witch Slayer. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, but it was a very good job at a chance for escaping. So I want to say very good job for you. I think what would have been a better choice is if right back here, when you saw them turn and chase you, just push stick over them, tablet of command over them, and try and run forward. That would have been your better chance. So good choice by you guys realizing that they're going to go back for Kongor. You get a kill there, and Myrmidon even gets away. You could kill Dampier, so that was kind of a bit of a foolish choice on your part to turn around and run. I mean, statistically wise, I agree. There were plenty of them up, so statistics, I'm glad you were actually paying attention to statistics. It was a good choice to back off, but because I'm a spectator, I know that they weren't anywhere near it, and you probably could have killed him before they came. But good choice on your part to back off, just based off of your ward sight and things of that nature. So you let them get Kongor, kind of unfortunate. Who picked up the token? Monkey King did. And he even got his Dawnbringer now. So I'm not sure why that's flickering like that. I apologize, actually. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's happening. But that is a Dawnbringer. So, okay, so now I'm getting a little bit confused even more by Myrmidon's items. So your items didn't make any sense to begin with. You should have gotten either a Storm Spirit, maybe, or gone straight for Cauldron Sheepstick if that was your choice. If you wanted to get a big item, even though I think the Storm Spirit would have been better. Or even I don't know the name of that item. Void Talisman. That's what I was going to say, but I wasn't sure that was the name. Even a Void Talisman would have been fine to pick up, although they have a lot of magic, but it's still not a bad item. So this is kind of... Whoa, mama. This is a little bit out of position. Trading Soul Reaper for your Pestilence. Okay, trading Soul Reaper for your Pestilence and the token is a little bit better, but I still think it's not a very good trade. And now it looks like you're going to pay for it. Yeah, so this is bad. That was kind of poor initiation based on your ward sight. You really, when it gets past 40 minutes, you really need to be careful with your initiation, because one wrong initiation throws the entire game. You literally can lose the game off of it. And actually, it looks like, I'm not sure why the game goes on for so much longer, considering they could probably end it right here. Okay. Parasite, insta-death from that. So they have a Genocide. They could literally, they have, 15 seconds on the earliest, 10 now, but like I'm not sure why this game lasts for so much longer. I'm kind of getting a little bit confused here, but hey, so here comes Pestilence to scare him off. I think he shouldn't be scared by Pestilence. Pestilence can't really do much, but hey. So Myrmidon, I don't even know what's going on with your items. I've said it a number of times now, so I'm sorry for repeatedly saying this, but Storm Spirit would have been fine, Tablet of Command would have been fine, even a Void Talisman, although I think that's not the best item, would have been okay. Cauldron Sheepstick, even rushing for that would have been fine. Going for a Hellflower, I'm not fine with. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not on Myrmidon. Rally, still, your item's going fine. You're building up a whole bunch of gold. I imagine that's for buybacks, in which case I love you. It's like you read my mind. If it's for an item, then you should probably be buying the pieces of it. I imagine your next item will be, something like a Behemoth's Heart maybe, or if you want to go a little bit more damagey, maybe like a Savage Mace or something along those lines. Other than that, I can't really see what you would get. Oh, you know what? The other thing you get is, yeah, you're probably going to grab the Light Brand to finish your Dawnbringer. That would be, yeah, it looks like that's what's going to happen right here, maybe. Is it? Are we going to see it? Well, if anything, you should buy another TP, and no more TPs. Okay, so, no TPs. One of you just got a free kill on the Monkey King. That's amazing. So now your focuses should be on Valkyrie. She's gotten a number of items now. She's the one that should be focused. So she's not getting attacked at all. This is pretty bad on your part, focus-wise. So it's 2 for 2. Unfortunately, the 2 people that died for your team are the 2 that need to be alive. So you do have the money to buy back. You should have bought back instantly. Yep, here comes the buyback. Very good job. You waited too long. You actually already lost your racks. Focus Valkyrie. That should be your focus. She doesn't have a shrunken head, which means she's 3 kills pretty much. When you're against a team like this, where every person on the team, with the exception of Hag, has a stun, you need a shrunken head. I mean, 4+ heroes have stuns. You need a shrunken head, assuming they're magic stuns, of course. You need a shrunken head, or you're pretty much a free kill. And I mean, that applies to carries, but you know, I mean, even some tanks, but not to supports is the only exception, really. So your ward sight's rather limited. Not that I'm, holding that against Myrmidon or Witchslayer, although they should be getting wards now that Myrmidon's up above 200. Above 200 on support is okay. That means you're doing okay as a support. Of course, you're spending on very odd items, but other than that, you're fine. Witchslayer's items, I love them. I imagine he's going to build this into a barrier idol. I hope so, anyways. If not, then I don't love it, but it's still okay. Hag, your items are fine. Now you're going for a Hellflower. I think you should have gone for a Golden Sheep Stick since Myrmidon didn't. We're actually going to slow this down just a little bit to want some team fight. Rally is running into, I hope he's the one who just killed Soul Reaper. I'm actually going to restart this team fight. So 2 more. Okay, so they're going for the racks. You should have rev wards here, but if not, it's fine. So good initiation by Pestilence. Very good initiation. Very good ultimate by Hag. Soul Reaper, dead. You are over here wasting your ult. I'm actually not sure if that just hit. I'm kind of curious, actually, if that just hit. Because I know you aimed it in somewhat of a direction towards him. No, so you didn't hit him. I'm not sure the range on that. I wasn't sure how far it went. So you missed your ultimate. You should have just either, I'm not sure if you can actually cancel it or not, but so far, the trade's actually in your favor. This should be another free kill right now, and then this should be a free kill. You should compel onto her. I'm not sure why you're, asleep here. Is that a stun? No, that's just the shield breaker, little proc. So this should be a free kill. Oh, I mean, you don't have Pestilence to PK in, but you can chase her still, force her to use her leap, so that way she can't come back in at least. So I'm a little bit unsure why you didn't chase after Valkyrie, but that's okay, I guess. I'm imagining you were paying attention to something else or shopping or something like that. So you went ahead and got Mystic Vestments. Great. I think you should have sold the bottle, though, so that way you still have room for a TP, man. And I'm not going to back down on that. That's something you definitely should have done. Other than that, though, your items are great. Hag's items, again, I think she should have gone Sheep Stick, only because... Myrmidon didn't get some crowd control. Okay, so Myrmidon now has a Storm Spirit. So now he's got an item I like. Very good job for you to finally get one. Pestilence, I love your items, dude. I love it. PK, Frostburn, and Abyssal Skull, I love them. And you even got a Power Supply, I love that. And Witchslayer is indeed building that into a barrier idol. I love that too. I love all of it. The only one on your team that's really kind of confusing me with their item-wise is Myrmidon. Just because of this Hellflower pickup is a bit odd. Now, I'm aware they have, some invis on their team and such, but still, I mean, usually you get the Hellflower for the silence so that people can't get away. It goes for people who have blinks and people who have invis and people who have things, that help them escape, really. But I think a Sheep Stick would have been even better. I don't think there's... that was a very risky initiation on your part. Considering you had absolutely no sight and saw 4 of them missing. Very stupid initiation by oh, sorry. No. So Hag went in with him, so I'm a little bit more on board now. I thought it was just Pestilence, in which case I was going to say you're grandstanding. So this is going a little far, though. And you're about to get backdoored. And no TPs, so I think this is going to be just about it. Yeah, no TPs. We're going to run back to base, I'm sure, once we see it. Yep. 3 of us running back. Okay, so he backed off. Okay, so we did have 1 TP. Good job on Pestilence on that part. Use your ult, Pestilence. Very good job. Okay, so this should be a free kill for you guys. Your Hag stayed up there when she shouldn't have. It's a little bit like, hide and seek or tag or something. Jesus Christ. So, oh my god, is this for real? He's just looking at him, he's jumping all around. This is why I say you should wait to use your AoE, stuns and stuff. against a Monkey King. I mean, you guys did eventually get him, which is fine. And I wish Hag hadn't, you know, suicided essentially by staying too long, but, you know, that was a little bit of a kind of like trolling. He was pretty much like, he should have died instantly, but because of the missed stuns and such, it delayed it a little bit and things of that nature. So I imagine this is just about where the game ends. We got 4 minutes left. So yeah, there's one dead onto Myrmidon, and you're dead on Rally. No buybacks. Oh, sorry, you did buyback. Now you can't buy back. So we got a buyback on Rally. It's not going to be enough, though. You can't. No, I'm not sure what you're doing. Oh, you're just getting kills now. Okay, well, that's a good choice by you. At that point, just, you know, have some fun with it, because you can't defend this. So, either way, it was a good game. We're going to go over items and statistics, so stick around for a few more minutes if you want a quick summary of that. Summary of the game in general, actually. So item-wise, we're going to go over the Legion, and then we'll do Hellborn. So, Legion team. Witch Slayer, love your items. Don't even change them, bro. Great. With the exception of no TP, which I'll say for everybody, and not enough wards. But I think that should have been Myrmidon's job, considering he had better GPM and such, although you should have gotten a few wards too, man. Pestilence, love your items. They're absolutely flawless. The only thing is I think a Shrunken Head really would have benefited you. I think that the Shrunken Head actually would have benefited you even more than the Abyssal Skull benefited the team. Not that I'm against the Abyssal Skull, I just think that the Shrunken Head would have been better. Myrmidon, I've mentioned it already. I don't get the Hellflower. Not sure why you started building towards a Nullstone when you didn't have any support items yet. The really, really odd choices on your part, man. I think if you were going to go for a big item like that, Sheepstick would have been way better than going for Hellflower. Other than that, I would have just gone for like a Storm Spirit, then maybe a Tabata Command, and then after that, then after that you go for the Sheepstick probably. Also, you should have had a Mystic Vestments, and so should have Pestilence. Everybody on this team should have had a Mystic Vestments by 15-20 minutes at the latest, alright? They have so much magic damage, maybe even before 15. Maybe like that should have been like your first item after boots. Even before even completing your boots level 2, that should have been an item you guys should have gotten probably. So other than that though, Myrmidon, just work on your build a little bit, kind of didn't really make a whole bunch of sense, and work on your weed fields, man. There were a number of them that you missed. Other than that, though, fine. Pestilence, also, keep in mind that I think the major reason why you guys lost was because of that failed initiation by Pestilence. Had he not thrown that team fight, I think you guys would have stood a very good chance of winning, but maybe that's just me. There were a number of throwing back and forth, so I'm not going to totally blame it on him, but Hag, your items were totally fine. Again, I think that I love Hellflower on Hag, don't get me wrong, but I think since Myrmidon built wrong and didn't get enough crowd controlling abilities, or items rather, I think you should have gotten a Sheepstick instead. But I'm still totally fine with the Hellflower, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Hellflower is wrong, I just think that a Sheepstick would have been really nice. I still love the Hellflower though, so don't by any means think your build is wrong, you're doing great, man. And then, of course, Fluxzy, who we were mostly thinking about. Fluxzy, I actually love your build. I love your build. The only thing I'm going to say, TPs for everybody in your team. Everybody in your team. Pass that message around. Make sure everybody on the team knows TPs are worth so much more than 135 gold, alright? They really are. Other than that, the only real comments I have to make are the Mystic Vestments should have been purchased way sooner on you. I know you went for the Helm first, so you were already pretty tanky, so it's not a huge deal. And you didn't even die that many times, so I'm not going to comment on it too much. It actually worked out for you. But I think that should have been an item you gotten probably after Helm would have been when I would have bought it. Other than that, when you got it late game, you should have sold the bottle for it, and that way you could have still had a TP. But that's just me. Well, actually, no, that's not just me. That's not really preference. That's kind of something you definitely should have done. You need to have those TPs, man. Onto the Hellborn team. Parasite, your items are fine, other than I'm not sure what level this finished at. It won't tell me, I don't think, so I apologize for that. But other than that, your codex seemed to be a little bit delayed to me, and on top of that, you went for a light brand, which seems a little bit odd to me. I don't know what you were going to do with that. I don't know if you were going Frozen Light or Searing Light, I think is the other one. But either way, It's just a little odd, man. That doesn't make any sense to me. You should have gotten a Frostburn, or fine if you wanted to get a Frozen Light, that's fine. I'm not against that item on him, I like it. But you should have gotten the Frostburn first, I think. Because at the point you got that, you didn't really need the mana regeneration. I think the extra health from the Frost brand, or the Ice brand, sorry, would have made so much more sense. Plus, you get the slow too, which is nice. Monkey King, your items were fine. The Grave Locket seemed a little bit odd to me, and the fact that you went for I believe you got the Searing Light, that seems a little bit odd to me, but I guess the regen and all that is fine. I just think the slow and the health and stuff from the Frostburn would have been better. Other than that, though, I like the Genjuros, I like the Dawnbringer, I like the Hatchet and Boots and all that. Just your Grave Locket makes no sense, and the order you built the Dawnbringer also is a little bit questionable. Valkyrie, Energizer, I'm not going to go back on that. That makes no sense to get that first. I mean, maybe it saved your life once or twice, but you died 14 times, so it's not really like it was all that beneficial. Other than that, Valkyrie, you really needed a Shrunken Head, really needed one. Like, after your Shield Breaker, before Savage Mace, you should have gotten a Shrunken Head, guaranteed. There's no question about that. Love the Power Supply, though. I love that one Power Supply that saved your life. That was bomb. That was really awesome, man. Dampier, Hellflower, Helm of the Black Legion, Spell Shards, a Mystic Vestments, and a Light Brand. I love the items. I actually liked the order quite well as too, with the exception of the Light Brand. You got the Light Brand near the end game, and I'll say the same thing I said to Parasite. You don't really need the mana regeneration and such, and the intelligence doesn't give you any damage. So really, this item kind of gives you nothing. I think that, I mean, it gives you the searing effect. Okay, so that's nice. 8 magic damage per second is nice. All right. But I think had you gotten, and I assume this is going to be eventually built into a Dawnbringer, had you gotten, either the Firebrand or the Icebrand first, I think it would have been more beneficial to you. And then Soul Reaper, your items were fine. I'm not so sure about the Gnome's Wisdom. That seems like a bit odd to me, but it's not bad. Icon of the Goddess, that's actually a pretty expensive item to get on a support hero who's 3 and 16 with only 135 creep score and only 170 gold per minute. It seems a little bit of an odd choice. I think you should have gotten more supporty items. Similar concept behind Myrmidon's items. Get Storm Spirit, Tablet of Command. You got a Gnome's Wisdom, which is good. Maybe a Barrier Idol would have been great for you. Actually, Barrier Idol would have been phenomenal to have on you. And things like that. Maybe even a Sheepstick for you as well. Another thing, I think both teams actually should have gotten like Mystic Vestments on every single one of your heroes. Really, everybody needed Mystic Vestments in this game. You guys had so much magic damage back and forth. So let's just real quick. I want to do creep score and GPM wise. Creep score, everybody in the game is behind where they should be. With the exception of Monkey King, who kept on par all the way up till the end, and even Valkyrie is a little bit on par. But they actually, Monkey King's actually doing great. 353 is great creep score for an hour-long game. It's not phenomenal, but it's decent. It means you're on par. Valkyrie should have been a little bit higher than that, but other than that, she did fine too. Everybody else in the game did poorly, and that applies to everybody. I mentioned it for the Hellborn team or the Legion team a number of times. Everybody in your team, creep score wise, was behind. So really, focus on your creep score a little bit, guys. You actually, even in a duo lane, you should have, like I said, you should have had like a 10 creep kill lead on Dampier. So him beating you in creep score, I mean, obviously he didn't beat you end game, you know what I mean? You had more, but like him beating you in the laning phase isn't really acceptable. But other than that, you did quite well. What I will say is, both teams threw the game back and forth. It was a pretty odd game. Usually you don't see that many throws back and forth, but hey, it happens, I guess, in the 1500s, So GPM-wise, your team's behind because of your creep score. You did decent, 330s and okay GPM to finish with. You actually finished second in the entire game, so that's decent. And, other than that, these guys, about the same thing. Pretty much in an hour-long game, unless you're a support, but as a carry in an hour-long game, you kind of want to have, 400 plus, really. Now, obviously, nobody beat that in this game. Monkey King would have beat it had he, had a kill score or something like yours. He would have beaten it by far, But his kills were a little bit lacking, and he died a lot of times. So it happens, though. It's not that big of a deal. 300 plus is a decent creep score. That means, or not creep score, sorry, decent GPM. It means you're doing okay. And 500 for 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 of these. That's good. 500 for 3 out of 5 of you. That's pretty good. Everybody in the game did decent XPM wise. The supports were all on par. The only thing being is that you guys had 2 supports, whereas they had 1. So they were a little bit less gimped on that part, But otherwise, you guys actually played decently. Just pay attention to your throws a little bit. You guys threw the game quite a bit. And I kind of want to very much so emphasize that for Pestilence, because he is the reason I think you guys lost that game. Because that was a very big throw with that poor initiation over by Kongor Pit. And you guys know the one I'm talking about. Other than that, though, things to keep in mind. TPs, get them. Mystic Vestments, everybody should have had them much sooner. Other than that, your initiation, i.e. Pebbles. Team composition-wise, you guys definitely got outpicked. You kind of have a really weird team composition. I've already commented on it, but again, had you traded Pebbles, or sorry, I keep saying Pebbles. Had you traded Pestilence for like maybe Meraxis, a tanky initiator, even Armadon, I appreciate somebody who had a PK, but even Armadon could have done it. There's a number of them. I can't think of them at the moment. Ra would have been fine. They exist. You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. Somebody who has a PK, a stun, maybe even Keeper of the Forest, except for then you'd have a jungler and you'd have a little bit of odd lane changing. And then, had you changed Rally for a carry, like a hard carry. Now, granted, I'm not going to take this away. Rally did quite good, actually. 26 and 25 is a very good score to finish. A number of those kills he actually did steal, I want to mention. But other than that, he did quite well. I just think had you had a real hard carry that could have just dominated late game with this same score and creep farm and GPM and better items and carry items, then you could have won this game pretty dominatingly, I think. But you did all right. You guys did fine, I think. Just pay attention to your throws, and also Rally. Really pay attention to your compel. You can use that on allies. You don't have to use it on yourself. So keep that in mind. You actually let a few kills get away because you didn't use it on allies as much as you should, if at all. I don't remember seeing you do it at all, but you may have done it once or twice and I just missed it. Other than that, though, I think that's about it. So initiation, TPs, Mystic Vestments, map awareness, maybe pay attention to when they're respawning and where they are and such like that. And then, your skills and using them on other people and things of that nature. So that's a quick summary. I hope this helped. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching to everybody. If anybody watched all the way through, awesome. If anybody just skipped to the end for the summary, that's cool too. Otherwise, though, you guys know where the like and subscribe buttons are. Hit them if you want. Or hit the dislike button if you want, and please tell me why you disliked it. I'd really appreciate that. If you disagree with anything I've said thus far, please feel free to comment and let me know what you disagree with and why, and I'll be more than happy to agree with you and retract my statement or argue it, and maybe hopefully convince one of us will be convinced. Otherwise, though, that's all I wanted to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was worth watching. Hope you learned something. Hope you're better players, etc., etc. You guys know the routine. And I will talk to you guys later. GG, well played, guys. Elfis out.